Opportunity IT Solutions Private Limited. It is a product-based company. We are creating GST application for the clients to file their GST. Like I have experience in AWS Cloud, some little experience in Azure Cloud also, and Oracle Cloud. So these three clouds I have worked with, but majorly I have worked with the AWS Cloud. The AWS Cloud, basically the services I have used as EC2, VPC, ALB, CloudWatch, CloudTrail, where for the security of our cloud, then S3 and various other services I have used there. If I comes to the CI/CD, I have majorly used the Jenkins, and I do have experience in GitHub Action also. And currently, we are using GitLab also for the version control system. We are using Git and GitLab both. And in terms of Jenkins pipeline, I have created from very scratch the pipeline where I have included security code analysis of code also, where we are using SonarQube, Tree and dependency check, all the three together for our code analysis. And pipeline is something like that. We are having a check out the state, test, building, and then we are having the deployment stage. So basically, the deployment pipeline is different one, and this code testing pipeline is different one. So once the developer pushes their code, analysis is being done, and we have permitted that pipeline on the basis of SonarQube quality gate profile. So if that we are having custom SonarQube custom quality gate profile. So if that pipeline get passed, if that code quality gate profiles get passed, then only it will be allowed to be merged. And after that merge, it will go into the deployment.
Okay.
And coming to, I do have experience in Docker, Kubernetes also, and in terms of infrastructure provisioning, we are using Terraform and Ansible for the configuration management, and for monitoring tools, like we are into the production, so we are using Neuralink and Prometheus, Grafana, and I do have experience in ELK also. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it.
Okay, great. So can you please explain me suppose one scenario based question I am asking. Suppose your website is having traffic. Okay, so you have the load balancer and all the things configured. Okay, so the thing is, like, for the Mumbai location the site is accessible. Okay, and for an Virginia region your site is not able to access, no one is able to access. So what troubleshooting steps you need to follow, and what you will do to debug these steps?
So suppose we are having just single region deployment. If we are having deployment in one region, that is in India region, we are using CloudFront for caching of all the applications, data, images, everything in different regions. Suppose we are having CloudFront in different region, Virginia, let's suppose we have created for that. So we have to check the CloudFront logs, basically, that what is the region that we are accessing or not. The best way to if the cost will allow us, then we can have a multi-region deployment, that is one for the India and one place for the Virginia region. So this will reduce the time and the latency for that today. And also suppose if we are having WAF over our cloud, so we have to check in WebACLs that whether we have allowed that region or not. So we have to check that in WebACLs whether we have allowed the Virginia region or not. So like these steps we can use to troubleshoot that why they are not able to access our application.
Okay. And from the security point of what will be your steps? Like, there are different ports like 80, 443, and all the things. So from the network policy, what you need to configure or needs to be checked?
So, suppose we are having application hosted, so it should be allowed that 80 port should be allowed. The load balancer should be the internet facing, it should not be the internal one. Uh, and like as I said that we are using web, so the region should be allowed. 80 port, 443 port for HTTP and HTTPS request, we have to allow those ports so that it can be accessible.
Okay. One, have you also experienced with VPC and load balancers and all the things?
Yes,
So
yes.
can you explain me what is VPC and why we use application load balancer and network load balancer?
Yeah. So VPC basically stands for virtual private cloud. So it's our private space where we are hosting our application. So it provides a complete set of security for private security for us. So VPC basically it contains the public subnet and the private subnets where we are hosting our load balancers and servers and that NAT gateways we are using in that. So now VPC is basically a private cloud, private space where we are hosting the application. And coming to the load balancer, we are having application load balancer and the network load balancer. Application load balancer basically works on the layer 7 and network load balancer basically works on the layer 4 of the OSI model. So application load balancer basically used for the HTTP and HTTPS protocols, and the network load balancer are used for the TCP and UDP protocols. And in terms of the speed, the network load balancers are quite more faster than application load balancers.
Okay, can you name the use case, like for which services we use application load balancer and for which we use network load balancer?
So for the front-end applications, which the clients or the users who are accessing our applications, so in that case, they are coming with us the HTTP and the HTTPS protocol. So we are using the application load balancer there, and in the network load balancer we will be using when we are having connection with various databases. So suppose if we are having backend application that they will be connected with the DB. So for the faster input and output, we are provisioning the network load balancer so that the backend and the databases communication will be faster.
Okay, great. Uh, okay, so yeah, do you also have knowledge of Route 53?
Right.
What is the difference between CNAME and A records?
CNAME basically it is used for the DNS names, which is for the any AWS resources for that we are using. Like suppose we are having load balancer having the DNS name, so we are configuring any URL with that DNS name. So we are using that, and in case of alien, we are using the IP address.
Okay. Uh, Suppose one scenario, do you also have experience in Lambda functions?
Lambda function, little bit, yeah, but I do have experience.
Okay, so what is Lambda timeout issue? Like we have configured the VPC with the Lambda and it is getting timeout. So how you will check this thing?
So basically, Lambda is having 15 minutes of the page time. Uh, 15 minutes of time, but the Lambda will be active. After that, it is not active at that case. So we have to check that if the process is being done within that time frame or not.
Okay, fine. Suppose your CloudFront is not serving the latest content. Okay, so for that thing, what you need to check, how you will, you know, make it correct that
Uh,
the latest code must be, fetched from the CloudFront end.
so for that we have to check the details. So the details should not be too much high. Uh, with that setting, detail setting, we can configure that the latest images or anything that should be fetched from our backend servers.
Okay. Have you heard the term cache control headers?
And front.
Yes, there is there are two to three options like invalidation, cache control. So, into the cache control headers on S3 objects, you have to, check which database have you used.
So MongoDB, I have used PostgreSDB. I have used that also. But our task is limited to that. In case of DB, that we are taking the dumps. We are restoring that dump which we have taken, and creating the users, creating the roles, and creating DB inside the Postgres, creating users, giving the credentials to the developer. Our roles are limited to that much only, not inside running queries. Query running is also that is provided by the developers, but our task is limited in case of databases.
Okay, suppose your IDS performance becomes slow. Okay, it was fetching the details and all the thing. So how you will configure this thing by troubleshooting this?
So input output is slow. We should be having one primary database and the other should be the secondary database. So we can configure like that for any read and write operation. For any write operation that should be done on the primary databases, and the secondary databases, they are replicating the data from the primary databases, so that we have to configure any kind of get operations or the read operation is being done, that should be done from the secondary databases.
Okay, and suppose you want to take the backup of a database, how you will take the database backup? Have you taken the database backup? Hello, sorry, I was on mute. I'm saying that have you taken the database backup anytime?
Yeah,
Your
yes,
net,
Postgres database recently I have taken the
hmm.
sorry.
Your network is slow, I think.
Network is slow.
Yeah. Now
My
it's
voice is not
no,
clear.
no, your voice is not breaking. Your video was stuck.
Okay.
Okay, okay, fine, no worries. Yeah. So I was asking.
So
Hmm.
can I say that about the database backup?
Yes, yes, yes.
So recently I have taken the database backup of using a tool called the utility tool for the Postgres database, that is PG Backrest. So we have configured the database backup on the that is incremental backup, differential backup, and the full backup. So that utility is having a good thing is that whenever we are taking the full databases backup, so it will delete all the incremental backup and the differential backup which it has taken. So it will help in reducing the storage size also. So and these backups are taken in compressed format also. So that PG backrest utilities I have used to take the dump. So we are taking the incremental backup also and differential backup, and once in a week we are taking the full backup, and the previous incremental and differential backup will be wiped out automatically. There is no configuration needed. in that, and again then after the full backup, that incremental backup and differential backup will start.
Okay, okay, fine. So I'm good with the AWS part. So can you explain me about Kubernetes experience? Like, what are the core components of Kubernetes? If you can explain me.
So Kubernetes components basically consist of it is having two nodes, that is the master node and the worker nodes. So components of master node basically involves the etcd API server, controller manager, and the scheduler. So the components of what the task is having different. So etcd, the API server is the front thing which is having any communication. So API server is responsible for that, and etcd backup will store the key value pairs of all the data of having cluster-wide data it is storing in etcd, and controller manager are responsible for maintaining the desired and the desired state of any pod, and the scheduler will be responsible for scheduling the pods on the suitable worker nodes. Coming to the this worker node components, we are having container runtime and proxy and the kubelet. The proxy is also maintaining the IP tables of that, and kubelet is responsible for scheduling the pods to that particular worker node.
Okay. Suppose node went into not ready state. What do you check?
Sorry, can you
Your
explain?
node went into not ready state. Okay. So what do you check? Like how you will troubleshoot this?
So first of all, we have to do check that to get nodes. We have to check that it is running or not. There might be some dates applied to that. Because of that, the pods cannot be scheduled. So we have to check that what we are QCTL described nodes, and we will check that what is the reason for that scheduling is not there.
Okay. How do you configure your Prometheus and Grafana with Kubernetes? If you have configured so.
So for that we will be running the pods of kubectl, the pods of Prometheus, and we will be having agent installation there of node exporter. Basically, the agent is there, and with that we will start fetching our metrics from that will start fetching the matrices, and it will then again we will be having the Grafana pod which will be running. It will export all the matrices to the Grafana, where we can have a visual visualization of all these things.
Okay. From the security point of view, what are the best practices from your point of view? Suppose I am creating whole infrastructure, okay, using AWS, Kubernetes, Prometheus, Grafana, CloudWatch, and all the things. So, from the security point of view, what will your instance to have the proper configuration of the architecture from the security point of view?
From the security point of view, if we are considering, then we should be having already we'll be having a VPC, and we should launch our servers or the clusters inside the private subnet, and the second thing we should be having we should open only those ports which is required, and the third thing, the IAM users which we are creating, that should be based upon the least access privilege policy, and the third thing to cope up with the DDoS attacks, we should be using AWS Sync. And the fourth thing, if we are having IP-based access to our particular application, we should be using AWS WAF for that. And for the sixth thing is that or the regular interval, we should use the AWS guard duty to check out what are the vulnerabilities inside our infrastructure. So it will provide us insight or provide us a report. We should check there and we should act upon that. And so these are, I have told you the 6 points, but many other points in terms of security we can use.